Hey guys, what's up? It's Rainy here, and I got another scrolls video for you. It's my DK build. I'm only level 20, so you got to take that into consideration when you're watching this video. Thanks for watching this video, and let's get on with the build. So, first off, I'm a Red Guard, Dragon Knight, obviously. I'm probably at the end, when I'm hit B14, it's going to be split between health and stamina at my attribute points. I have the boon, the warrior. You can either choose the warrior, you can choose, I believe it's lady, that increases your fire resistance and physical resistance, or you can pick, I forget which one it's called, but it increases your maximum stamina. Those are the three I would recommend. I'm also a werewolf, which increases my stamina regen, and I don't enter werewolf form, so pretty much there's no negative effects for me, so I like this considering my stam build. So that's pretty much it for that. And now I'm going to show my stats buffed, so you can see what what your stats would be like if you just interested in. This is completely 100% buffed. So 1000 stamina regen, but this is with no food and stuff, and like 12k physical resistance and spell resistance, and pretty much at the bottom of the max stamina and max magic guys, because we don't have gear that increases it, and our health is decent. So yeah, that's pretty good. And maybe because we have Emperor and stuff, but so it's stats are pretty decent for physical resistance and stamina regen. If you drink food, because with this I use food, but you can do. With this I do drinks, but you can use food. With drinks, I get around 13k stamina regen, which is pretty good. But I don't use Tristat. I use the simple stuff, so I'm kind of like new to the game, so I'm slightly poor. But I can get around 13 stamina regen in non-vet, which is pretty decent, I think. And I think I can get 21k weapon critical at the best, but it's not that great. But I'm not really going for crit. I'm going for like high DPS and sustain. So let's get on with the skills. So my first bar is my two-handed sword. You can use pretty much whatever you want. At the end, I'll most likely use a mace, but the things I would recommend is either mace or a axe for the bleed damage. I'll probably use mace though, just for that extra damage. They all do extra damage, but I'm just probably going to choose a mace because they can go through enemy armor. So the first ability is Wrecking Blow, which is your main DPS. It does the most damage out of pretty much this entire build. It does 4,300, which I guess is pretty good for non-vet. And I use Wrecking Blow so that I can get more damage next time. Which turns out to be a decent amount of damage just in non-vet. And then Critical Rush is my gap closer. It's pretty much one of the only gap closers I think I can use as a DK. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I use Crit Rush so I can do more damage. Because really, people underestimate how good Crit Rush is. Although, yes, I would use ambushes and Nightblade. Crit Rush is amazing now. Like, especially with that extra damage. It honestly, like if you see a guy at low health and you're from a distance, you most likely will finish him off if you crit rush. It just does so much damage. Especially if you get your weapon damage up really high and your max stam like really high. That can do a boatload of damage. Third ability is Unstable Flame, which is my dot. It's very, very, very cheap, only 682 stam. So that's like really important. You want to keep that up all the time. It does a crap ton of damage. Really, in the end, it does what 5,500 damage, which is pretty good if you ask me. It's like same as a Wrecking Blow over time. The thing you need to pay attention to is lasts for 3.5 seconds and increases 10% damage every 2 seconds. So if I know this correctly, if you can keep up the Unstable Flame after about 20 seconds time, you'll be doing 2 times the amount of damage for each time it ticks. That's really, really important when you're fighting someone one-on-one, 1v2. Whoever your main target is that you're attacking, try to keep Unstable Flame up all the time, because eventually it's going to start to do massive, massive damage. Now, Obsidian Shield is the next one I have. That really won't be there when you hit like higher ranks, but I'm just doing this. I'm keeping these two on here for leveling reasons. Eventually, I'm going to have Executioner for more damage, like a really good execute. What's nice about Executioner is it scales at 50% instead of the Night Blades one, which scales at 25, so that's really good. And it does a crap ton of damage. Like, it pretty much does the same as a Wrecking Blow, except it takes no, it casts instantly, which is really nice, and casts a little less damage. So, and it buffs all your other abilities against weak opponents when you get Execution, which is the morph for this one. And then the last one I have is Green Dragon Blood as my heal. But, like I said, this will also be different. I'll eventually have Rally here, which is the morph for Momentum, which is a good heal and increases your damage quite a bit. Now, passes-wise, you need to have all of your passes you can. For your class, I would pretty much get every single passive. Do the best you can to get every single one. It takes a while, but once you get to like 50, you'll pretty much have every single one. So yeah, that's good. Like, that's gonna make you do a lot of DPS and have really good sustain. That's what the DK is made for, really good sustain. But with this two-hand, you can do a ton of damage. That's what you gotta pay attention to. Now, my second bar. This is the abilities I use are gonna be there probably no matter what, but it's up to you what weapon you want to use. You know, I use the bow with poison arrows for like people that block, and then just for like some extra DPS and extra dot on an enemy. So like, as if I was gonna sneak up on a guy, I would shoot him. I would hold a heavy attack, and then shoot a poison arrow instantly. That's gonna do probably 4k damage at least right there. Bang. So now, if you're like at a veteran PvP, he's already down by like 25% of his health. It's going to add a dot, which is going to do a lot of damage. This is when you want to switch to a two-hand, crit rush in, that's going to do a ton of damage, and add Unstable Flame. That's going to have two different dots going at the same time, and you can begin to use Wrecking Blow and your finisher, which you can execute, or any other DPS you want on here. You can mix it up for what you want, but that's why I use both. But there's a lot of other good abilities you can use. You can use one-handed shield, because the way I use this bar is, let's say I'm going into battle, I'm at 37% health or something. I'll go in here, I'll block, and I'll start to reapply my buffs, Green Dragon Blood, and my armor. But something really important is you're sitting in shield. You need to have that up a lot, because it pretty much gives you 34k health, for my build at least, which is really nice. It's pretty much like a free heal for 6k, but it's like making the opponent think that your health is still low when it's really not. It's really, really important to keep this up. So you pretty much want to keep both the armor and the shield up at like all times. But the thing that makes this build crazy is, this is why I use this build specifically, and I really want to make a video on it, is Ferocious Leap. This is the ultimate I use for this bar, and the reason why I really like this is because it does a really good amount of damage, and it's really good for distance. The crazy thing about it is it gives you damage shield. But what you have to do is you have to see the damage shield, you have to pay attention to this. This increases your shield. I have casted Ferocious Sleep in a battle when I feel like I'm under a lot of pressure and I might lose this battle. Cast Ferocious Sleep to cast Shooting Shields. I've ended up with 28k health shields, which is insane. Doubling your health pool. That could honestly, like, pretty much screw your opponent over and give no chance of survival. Not like that, but since you're Dragon Knight, you gain health back, stam, and magic. Therefore, pretty much making you invincible for like 6 seconds. And then after that 6 seconds is over, you then have still a really nice damage shield, which is going to help you win that fight. So pretty much what's going to happen is he's going to think he has a chance against you. You're going to do this, and pretty much he's going to lose all hope. This is where you have to go with your main DPS. You start using all your main DPS. I would use Wrecking Blow. And this is where people start to run away, so you have to have a gap close. You have to have your crit rush there to gap close. But since I said this is a support bar, you can use whatever weapon you want, you know. Sword and board would be good since you're blocking a lot. If you want, you can use dual wield for the AoE damage and some extra crit and stuff. I wouldn't recommend a Destroyer Restless Staff, but you could if you wanted to, but like I said, I wouldn't recommend it for extra healing. But since you're not a magic build, it's a lot harder to do these things. But it's still doable if you really, really wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it. So I pretty much use it as my support build. So like, as if I was going to battle, I would just cast these and go in. Or if I feel like I'm about to die in battle, switch over my bow and use all my bow. That pretty much makes you have insane sustainability, but that's why I might end up later using the sword and board, because it pretty much when you're on your support bar, you want to hold up block. This is where you're supposed to be increasing your health and increasing your survivability. So you're going to be taking damage while you're doing this. Now, yeah, if you hold up block, it's not like you're invincible, but you know, it's a lot better than just sitting there defenseless. But eventually, you're not going to want to hold it up for too long because then you're going to lose stamina regen. So in this next buff, this next patch, they're going to take away your regeneration while blocking. That's really important. So if you know a guy will attack you, hold up your block, but don't hold up block unless you know you're absolutely in danger. That way you can keep your stamina regen. What's nice about your Dragon Blood is it's going to give you more steam for stamina regen, which is really going to help since you're a Stam build. Now, that's pretty much it for this part. And I am a red guard, by the way. So, you know, these werewolf and the warrior, they're not necessarily, you know, crucial with this build, but you know, when I first started doing non-vet, I had pretty much the same amount of stand regen as Magicka, and if you add all this stuff up, you can get almost double, which is pretty impressive when you get to non-vet PvP, so it's pretty important to do. So, you know, I try to follow this, but this build is very versatile. You can do it however you want. These are just the way that's the way I run it. But the thing you need to consider is this ferocious leap and obsidian shield. This thing is so good if you put them together. You need to make sure you need to cast your shield after it. Increasing your shield is honestly extremely overpowered. I might record some gameplay later and release to my channel of me using it. It is extremely overpowered, and you have amazing DPS because you're using a two-hand sword. So, that's pretty much it, guys. Check out my channel for other ESO videos in the future, and leave a like if you enjoyed it, and ask in the comments any questions you have about this build. And that's pretty much it, guys. Peace out.